Yeah, Dora. Very good. I'm so impressed with you kids. I think sometimes when kids play in front of a big audience, all of the dynamics and things that you work on at home, they go away because you're kind of worried about making a mistake. You don't. You really keep a beautiful sound. I think you're always thinking about your sound, which is a really good thing. And you're thinking about the story. Again, most of these pieces have titles, right? So, and this is, composers really think hard about the title and ways that we want to illustrate those titles. So this one gives you a lot of freedom to kind of think about it. Obviously, it's just got a general season, right? Autumn. So you've got to decide what's the images that maybe you want people to think about when you're playing this. What kind of things about autumn do you want them to be thinking about when you're playing? Oh, she's so smart. Yeah, somebody was looking out the window, looking at the leaves falling. Yeah, I think that's great. I certainly was thinking that. I was thinking about kind of breezes and leaves actually on the trees, but getting kind of old and kind of different colors and then falling. Yeah, absolutely. And you see a lot of places where that's happening, different octaves and things like that. So, yeah, the way that you're kind of moving between the hands and then your wrist rotation all really help with that. I think that's really awesome. Okay, so let's take a look a little bit at this. So this is a little bit different than our elephant piece and our raindrop piece, huh? When we use kind of a term where we have to keep a piece really smooth, what's the Italian word for that? Do you know? It starts with an L. Legato, good, exactly. So we're going for a really legato sound, and what we really want to do is we want to connect all those notes through what we call wrist rotation, right? I want to just see you pretend like you're opening a door. Let's get a doorknob. Can you open up a door that way? That's right. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So can you do a little, and just back and forth, like you're just trying to, the door is locked and you can't get it open. Let me just back and forth, okay? I'm going to watch your wrist and see if it rotates. Yeah, let's just stay on that one for just a second and just see if you can do it maybe 5 or 6 in a row that just feels so smooth, okay? Back and forth, feel that wrist. Good, now let's try a harder one. Let me hear this one. Do a bunch of those. Yes, I see a wrist moving. Good, this one's the hardest one. Good, what I like is I didn't hear a single hiccup. Everything was very connected. Now, so I didn't do very good on that last one. I have to get my 5th finger ready, right? Let's try that. Yeah, that's it, right. So, show me what would happen if you were a robot and you didn't have any joints and you just had to play it. And you don't have any wrists or elbows. Yeah, what I hear happening with that when you're a robot is that your thumb gets really loud, huh? So when you move the weight over and you're able to transfer the weight, you get a nice even sound, which is really nice. Okay, this time you're just in charge of the right hand. And your job is to make it so even with your doorknob that nothing sticks out, okay? And I'll be the left hand. Ready, go. Good, okay. Now let's go to the next step, because you're already doing this one so well, so now I can get it a little harder, okay? What do you think's more important? Do you think your highest note's up here? Or do you think your thumb is the most important? Which one of the notes? Do you think the ones where you're playing 2 at the same time are the most important, or do you think your thumb is supposed to be the loudest? Yeah, I think if you had to really choose, yeah, you want them generally even, but I think what we probably don't have to have is much thumb, right? To me, there's a hidden melody. It's kind of a sneaky melody here, and this is the melody I'm hearing. Can you hear that melody when you play it? This, I don't think, is the melody. That's not the melody. So with a lot of kids, I probably couldn't do this step, but I know you're playing this at such a high level. I want to see if you can do something pretty hard. I want to see if you can go more, less, more, less, more, less. As pianists, we sometimes have to do this. We have to play 2 melodies or 2 voices in one hand. makes our instrument really hard and really fun. So let me hear if you can do this. In really slow motion, it's going to be more or less, more or less. That means a light thumb, okay? Ooh, I knew you could do it. Yes, now we're all hearing this mysterious hidden melody, but it's almost like in the background there's another instrument. It's almost like you have 3 hands. Isn't that great? So let's try it now with both. That means a little more weight at the top and a really light thumb, okay? Let's put both hands, and I want your thumb to almost be invisible, okay? Ooh, that's starting to sound really professional. That's really, really nice. Yeah, I like the idea that you're, at the very beginning, your thumb kind of stuck out and you fixed it. That shows me that you're not just kind of, you know, just phoning it in or not really, you're understanding and you're listening to your sound. That's what we all have to do. And especially on a piano we're not used to playing, we have to make adjustments all the time, huh? Okay, let's go to another little part that does something very similar, okay? So, now it gets even harder. I want to see where the left hand comes in right here, okay? And just show me the left hand first. If you had to pick an instrument that's kind of in this register, kind of a little bit middle or lower, probably wouldn't be flute, right? What kind of other instrument maybe would you like this piano to sound like? Is there an instrument that kind of plays in this register, kind of middle to low, that you would like to sound like? Yeah, she says she thinks it's called a cello. Absolutely, that's exactly the instrument I was thinking of, where they sit down and it's got the big strings and it's so resonant. My son plays cello and it's so beautiful. It's really, really, I'm so glad he didn't learn oboe or something else, right? No offense to oboe players, but I really love the sound of a cello, right? So just pretend that you're bowing a big cello. Okay, here we go. That's pretty. That's really, really nice. I like it. Okay, very, very good. So when you put your little doorknob up above that, that's got to now be very quiet, right? Because it's almost like your left hand is the solo cellist and you're just doing a little accompaniment, trying to stay out of the way, right? Let's try it. Give me a nice big cello sound, rich all the way to the back of the room, and then the right hand is soft. Pretty. Yeah, and we'll probably want a little pedal so it doesn't sound choppy, right? One of the things we have to do on the piano is we want to imitate the sound of a violin or cello because they get to go sideways. They get to go left to right, huh? On the piano, we're going down, down, down. So we don't want to sound vertical. We want to sound connected over a long. So the pedal can be a way to kind of mask that kind of choppiness, right? So let's try the same thing with a really soft doorknob in the right. Ooh, I like it. Oh, you have such a good sound. One of the hardest things you have to learn at your age is playing one hand louder than the other, and it's really hard for the left, and you're already doing a really good job with balance. I love it. Okay, last thing. One of the things I like to do when it's fall in Utah, I live right by mountains. Maybe you have places that you hike or that you've gone on paths and things like that. I think this piece it's kind of like hiking in a way. You have a little tiny hill. That's the first one, just a tiny hill, right? Then how is this one different? Is the hill bigger or smaller? It's bigger. And then what happens here? That's probably the top of the mountain, right? And then back to a tiny hill. So this is now the final challenge. I've given you lots of things to think about. I want now you to do a little hiking trip. I want to have the first hill really tiny. I want you to get a little bit taller on the second hill. You finally get to the top. You get to see everything. You're in the nature. The leaves are falling. It's this beautiful view. And then you get one little bump at the very end of your trip. Okay? Here we go. I'll help you. I'll walk you through it. Okay? Yeah, why don't we do the whole thing and we'll kind of talk through just the first half because it does it again over here, huh? But I want to see 4 different sizes of hills, okay? Here we go. Bring out that top. That was your tiny heel. Now slightly bigger heel. Keep it bigger. That's pretty. Top of the mountain. Put that pedal down so it's not choppy. Coming down the hill. And one little tiny hill at the end. Watch your rotation. Remember, go ahead. That's right. That's it, that's it. So I like to think about phrases like hiking. Sometimes you'll have a phrase that is big in the middle. Sometimes you'll have a phrase that's big toward the end. Sometimes you'll have a couple of little bumps. And it's fun to sometimes watch the melody. You can't do this with students that can't really count or know their notes, but you do that so well that now you could get into that next little stage where you're thinking about where are my biggest points of the journey that I'm on. Okay, last thing, we're gonna do a little improv too, okay? I wanna just play around with this idea. Can you just do that? It's kind of different than our piece. I wanna hear a thumb and a pinky in the left hand, your A and E. Can you get your hands there? Just where you started your piece? Yeah, let's go up an octave. Let's do it up an octave. Yeah, and then the right hand, let me hear 4 of those, okay? Just your little door rolls. Pretty. Now let's go down a step. Can you do this? And then move that. That's pretty. Up, down a step. Back up. Ooh, I like it. Okay, let's put a little pedal, okay? You and I are gonna do a little duet. I'm gonna make up a little melody, and you're gonna be my band. You're gonna be my rhythm section. You're gonna be just keeping a good steady beat. We're making everybody cry out there. We're gonna have the saddest song ever. We're gonna put it on Spotify. Okay, here we go. Ready? Go. Do it again. I think they're all crying. That's what we want. Good. All right, now we're gonna do it just backwards, okay? I'm gonna do the melody, and you get to make I'm gonna do the harmony. I'll be the band, and you get to make the melody. How do you do that? The cool thing is it's so easy. All you have to do is just play around on any white note. And you want some long notes, maybe some fast ones. That kind of thing. So play around with that. If you're getting really adventurous, you can have both hands. Do the same thing. It's up to you, okay? So, your only rule in this thing, any of the notes are gonna sound good on those white keys. Your only rule is that you have to stay right with me. We have to be the band together, okay? So we're in the recording studio. I'm playing my little intro, and as soon as I tell you, you start a really pretty melody that makes everybody cry, okay? Here we go. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Try some long ones and some short ones. Keep going, you're doing great. Now get a little higher on the keys. Slow it down. I think we've got our next Taylor Swift right here. Good job.